Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing my current list of the 10 best perfumes in my entire collection. I often talk about the showstoppers, the real standouts, and usually I'm comparing those fragrances with Baccarat Rouge 540 from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. I know there are plenty of people out there who do not like this perfume, but for those of us who do, this is almost the gold standard. Why would you wear anything other than Baccarat if it's not as good or even better? And it's not just about the fragrance, it smells amazing. It's a little bit sweet, very addictive and sexy, but it's more about the mood this fragrance evokes. When you walk in the room, you feel so confident, powerful, it just smells so luxurious. Well, these are all perfumes that I would say are on the same level as Baccarat. So if you don't like this perfume, these are great alternatives for you. They're not simply dupes, they all smell completely different. But if you love Baccarat, I think you will also really appreciate all of these fragrances because it's nice to diversify and switch things up every once in a while. This is the Eau de Parfum. I recently did a comparison video between the Eau de Parfum and the Extrait de Parfum of Baccarat Rouge 540. So I will link that video down below in case you're interested. Maybe you're curious about the differences between the two and you're less familiar with this perfume. But it has saffron, jasmine, ambergris, and cedarwood, and this vanilla sugar note right off the top that gives it that delicious, very addictive sweetness that draws people in. I love this fragrance. Definitely one of the showstoppers in my collection. I think it is worth every penny, even though it is expensive. Worth all of the hype because it truly does have a cult following. This is always one of my most complimented fragrances. It's one of the longest lasting perfumes in my collection, so I think it deserves all of the praise. But I actually have 10 additional fragrances here to talk about. So I am going to begin with the only perfume here that smells a little bit similar to Baccarat. Still very different in my opinion, but it's Bond No. 9 New York Tribeca. Just a powerhouse perfume. I didn't think it was possible, but Tribeca is even longer lasting and more powerful than Baccarat Rouge 540. Keynotes include cacao absolute, green hazelnut, jasmine sambac absolute, cedarwood, ambroxan, moss, and caramel. That is so nice. Yeah, it is definitely different from Baccarat, but it still has that power, that oomph, and it has that sweetness. The sweetness is very different though. It smells more like caramel than cotton candy. There are some similar notes in there, but it's just amazing. It is, wow, just a beautiful perfume. It's also unisex, just like Baccarat, but I think this exudes femininity, in my opinion. It smells like warm, spicy caramel with a hint of cedar. It is so pretty. Definitely a standout fragrance. This is a fragrance that you wear for a special occasion or an evening out or some sort of affair where you want impact with your fragrance. Tribeca is perfect. There are 2 Bond fragrances on the list. The second one is Greenwich Village. This replaced Baccarat Rouge 540 as being my signature scent whenever I picked this up a couple months ago, because there was a good couple of months there that I was wearing Baccarat nearly every single day. Of course, I like to experiment with fragrances and try new things, and anytime I buy a new fragrance or something is sent to me, I'll always test it out for a couple days, but that was my go-to, which is why it has the biggest dent out of any of the fragrances in my current collection. But when I discovered Greenwich Village, I was at the Bond boutique. I sprayed it on my arm and I instantly fell in love with it. But as it dried down on the skin and I kept going back, smelling my arm, by the time I got home, I went to the computer and I was immediately searching how I could get a discount on this fragrance because I knew I needed to purchase it. It is just as special. It has that wow factor, totally different from Baccarat, and it doesn't have that candy sweetness that Baccarat has, that Tribeca has. It's so unique, and I find it very difficult to describe this fragrance. Keynotes include cassis, lychee, mandarin, peony, water lily, jasmine petals, ambrox, peach musk, vanilla, oak moss, and praline. And it makes me so happy when I hear from you guys who say that you tried Greenwich Village or you blind bought this fragrance and you love it as much as I do. I sort of had a sneaking suspicion that it would be a crowd pleaser because the first time I wore this fragrance out, I picked it up in the middle of quarantine. So it took me a couple weeks, I think, before I really got a good vibe of how other people felt about it. Everyone was raving about this fragrance, so it immediately became one of my most complimented. There's just something about it. I don't know if it's the peach, the musk, the ambergris, the praline, and it's so well balanced. It's not really floral or fruity or gourmand, but it's just the perfect blend of all of the notes. It's as if they created something incredible that does not exist outside of the perfume, which is why it makes it so difficult to describe. It's just intoxicating. When you smell this perfume, you don't want to smell anything else, which is why when I sprayed it on my arm the first time, I just kept smelling it, kept smelling it, kept smelling it. And I had tried a couple other fragrances that day that smelled really nice. I could have easily purchased one of those, but there was just no competition, and that's really how I feel about this fragrance. There's not a lot of competition, which is why it makes this list. And I think it would make the perfect signature scent because it's not really daytime or evening, it's sort of all-encompassing, like Baccarat, like some of the others here, in that you can wear it anytime, any occasion. It doesn't really speak to one event. That's the kind of fragrance that's a great investment as well, because if you are going to spend several $100s on a luxury niche fragrance, you don't want to be reserved to only spraying it in the evenings or certain times of the day, certain events. You want to be able to wear it anytime you want to. This fragrance is always appropriate. It will always be a showstopper. People are going to ask you what you're wearing. And you'll have to tell them that you don't remember so that it can be our little secret and the word doesn't get out and it doesn't become incredibly popular like Baccarat. The third perfume here that falls into that any occasion, any season category is Zara Bianca from Zara. And this is a new addition to my fragrance collection. I unboxed this in my last fragrance haul, which I will also link down below. This was love at first sniff. I tried a sample several weeks ago now, and I wore it on my skin, and I just fell in love. There's something that is incredibly addictive about this fragrance. It's categorized as a floral, woody musk fragrance. To me, it smells very fruity floral, but key notes include kumquat, lime, Italian iris, violet, Egyptian jasmine, lilac, lily of the valley, vanilla, malt, ambrette, white musk, sandalwood, and cedar. I don't think I've ever smelled or tasted a kumquat, so I have no idea if that's what I'm picking up on, because there's something very fruity to me right away, and it's definitely not the lime because I'm very familiar with that. It smells so exotic, like exotic fruits and flowers. And then the dry down is just incredible. But it's that fruity sweetness that really draws you into the fragrance because it's not like other fruity florals. It doesn't smell like anything else you would smell in a department store. If you were going down the line trying to pick out fruity floral fragrances, this is 10 times better than anything you will find. It's perfect for spring, summer, and it definitely has that, oh my gosh, what are you wearing? What is that appeal? The best way I could describe this would be an exotic fruity floral. So if you like fruity floral fragrances, but you're looking for something different, something that really stands out in your collection, this might be the perfect fragrance for you. These next three perfumes would be perfect for spring, summer, starting with Montal Rose's Musk. I love this perfume so much. Definitely one of my favorites, standouts in my collection. Now, do I think this is as good or better than Baccarat Rouge 540? Yes and no, because I think they're for different occasions. Baccarat is one of those perfect signature scents, but I do think there are certain occasions where it wouldn't really be appropriate to wear it. For example, if you're meeting the parents or a first date or some sort of occasion when you want to smell very elegant and sophisticated, you want to smell smart and luxurious, but you don't necessarily want to be center of attention. Because Baccarat is one of those fragrances that is so strong and powerful, and people are going to stop you and ask you what you're wearing. If you're a bridesmaid, for example, You don't want to douse yourself in Baccarat Rouge 540 if you're the bridesmaid. You want to see what the bride is wearing. Let her stand out and be center of attention and wear something else that still smells amazing. You don't have to dim your own light, but it's appropriate for the occasion. Those are some of the ones that came to me off the top of my head. A job interview where you don't necessarily want to wear a sexy evening fragrance or something that's going to be too impressionable that it actually takes away from your presence. That's where I think Rose's Musk really shines, because it has a little bit of a conservative quality. To me, this is like old money, wealthy, so sophisticated, just dripping in refinement is what I think of when I smell Rose's Musk. The top note is rose, middle notes are jasmine and rose, base notes are ambergris and musk. I think when you wear Rose's Musk, you smell like you have incredible style. You're very chic and put together, but never too extravagant or distracting. It's just an understated elegance, incredibly beautiful. Because it's Montal, it is a bit stronger, so it's going to be long lasting. It is going to give you some projection. You're still going to smell really amazing. In fact, this is one of my most complimented fragrances, and I discovered this because I kept smelling this on a friend, and every time I would ask her what she was wearing because she just smelled so beautiful, and it was Rose's Musk. Next is Delena from Parfums de Marly, the original Delena, and I was going back and forth because I also really like the new Delena Le Rosé, and I always preferred Delena to the Delena Exclusive until recently when I've started to really grow an appreciation for the Exclusive. I don't think you can really go wrong. I think you can choose the Delena that works best for you or that speaks to you. But I'm just going to stick with the original for today because this is the one that I have loved for years and years. Key notes include Turkish rose, lily of the valley, peony, lychee, rhubarb, bergamot, nutmeg, cashmere wood, and musk. So nice. It has a heart of rose, but the lychee and rhubarb right off the top give it this fresh, fruity sweetness. It's so nice. And then the dry down is a bit spicy, so you could really wear this daytime or evening. So pretty. It's just the ultimate feminine perfume. The fruity floral to end all fruity florals. It's tough to beat this one, which is why it's a standout and a showstopper in my collection and probably any collection. And it's very interesting. It doesn't smell like everything else. When you wear Delena, you are absolutely going to stand out. And then we have Elixir from Roja Perfumes. This is a relatively new discovery for me. I think I've only had this for a handful of months, but the first time I sprayed this, it was love at first sniff. And I truly feel like if I were creating my own perfume, it would smell something very similar to Elixir. It is just perfection. When I smell this fragrance, it is just the ultimate luxury. Keynotes include bergamot, lily of the valley, geranium, rose de may, jasmine, ylang-ylang, heliotrope, violet, raspberry, peach, violet leaves, cinnamon, cedarwood, sandalwood, vanilla, orris, ambrette, and musk. I don't know if it's the raspberry or the peach, but there's something about Elixir that smells straight from a fairy tale. It's so feminine. It's kind of soft and delicate. A hint of sweetness, but the dry down is so elegant on this fragrance. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit fruity, a little floral, slightly powdery, which I think really elevates the fragrance. It makes it smell incredibly sophisticated. And it's just delicious. I love wearing Elixir, and I wear it all the time. This immediately became one of my favorite fragrances, and I think if I had to narrow down maybe a top 5 of all time, it might be in the top 5. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit fruity, a little floral, slightly powdery, which I think really elevates the fragrance. It makes it smell incredibly sophisticated. These next 3 perfumes would be perfect for summer. Spring, summer, but could be summer, fall. But to me, they speak to summer because I just think of a tropical vacation. And the first one is from Creed. This is Love in White for Summer. It is just heaven. The most heavenly fragrance immediately transports you somewhere glamorous, like the south of France or the Maldives. I don't know, somewhere really beautiful and tropical where you don't have a care in the world and everything is very expensive and lavish. Top notes are Bulgarian rose, bergamot, sweet magnolia. Middle notes are Florentine iris, rice, Virginian cedarwood. Base notes are ambergris, sandalwood, apple, and jasmine. It's not that it smells tropical because it doesn't really have banana, coconut, pineapple, or anything like that. But when you smell this perfume, it just smells like the islands. It's so relaxing, so peaceful. I just think of like an all-white suit or an all-white dress going somewhere really fancy. It's perfect for Miami. It's just peaceful. Whenever I pull out all of my summer fragrances, this is one that I always get the most use out of. It is elite. A new favorite for summer is this Fragrance de Bois Eau de Jaune Intense. This was recently sent to me complimentary, and I cannot get over this fragrance. It immediately went to the top of the list, and it was love at first sniff. Jaune translates to yellow in French, so as you can see, it has this very vibrant yellowy orange juice, and the bottle is just a piece of art. It is so luxurious. It's weighted. It feels huge in the hand. You have the little crystals on the top of the cap. I love the design. I think these bottles are incredibly glamorous, and the fragrance inside matches perfectly. It's a new discovery for me, but this actually launched in 2013. It's an amber floral fragrance with keynotes of Tahitian tiar flower, pineapple, fruity notes, ylang-ylang, jasmine, white flowers, orange blossom, vanilla, musk, and oud. It smells as if they captured summer in a bottle. And even when I look at the bright color, it reminds me of summer. Oh, but it just smells amazing. Another destination perfume. If I was traveling somewhere really tropical and fancy, I would have to take this with me. Probably not this bottle, but I would find a way to take this. Now this one does smell tropical, unlike Love in White for Summer, which smells very summery, like an island vacation, but not tropical. Eau de Jaune Intense is tropical, but still incredibly elegant. When I went through the Fragrance de Bois Discovery set, this was the one fragrance that really stood out, and they were so beautiful, all of them. Santal Complete was another one that stood out, but I knew of the bunch, this was the one fragrance that I would love to wear, that I would grab. Among all of my perfumes, it's a standout. I know I'm going to get so much use out of this over the summer. It was perfect timing to discover this. And the last show-stopping perfume for summer, which also happens to be a new discovery, is my favorite. I saved the best for last. It's 51 Essence de Parfum from Roja. I recently discovered this through a sample, and the moment I sprayed this fragrance, I instantly fell in love, and it's just one of those perfumes that really speaks to me. I love all of these fragrances. I would consider them all to be favorites. But you know, there are perfumes that are your favorite, and then there are perfumes that just almost take your breath away when you smell them. That is how I feel about this. I think it is one of the best fragrances of the year, best fragrances for summer, and I'm doing my best not to be too dramatic when it comes to this perfume, because we just talked about a lot of really great fragrances, and it's not to diminish them in any way. They're all very unique. It's almost like comparing apples to oranges. This is so different from Greenwich Village, from Baccarat Rouge 540, but it is absolutely on the same wavelength. This is the upper crust of my perfume collection, and 51 deserves a standing ovation. It deserves so much praise and attention. I love it. What can I say? I think it is incredible, absolutely a showstopper perfume, the type of fragrance that just draws people to you. You can't get enough of it. Other people can't get enough of it. I believe it launched in March of this year. It has keynotes of bergamot, raspberry, orange blossom, May rose, jasmine, tuberose, ylang-ylang, lily of the valley, gardenia, vanilla, benzoin, violet, anise, patchouli, cashmere wood, sandalwood, orris, cinnamon, and clove. And I love that Roja Parfums always gives a laundry list of notes because there's always so much that you can pick out. What's funny is that when I read patchouli, cashmere wood, vanilla, sandalwood, cinnamon, clove, I don't think of summer. I actually think of fall winter. It's just a beautiful perfume, and I think I could learn to love this fall winter as well. I just don't want to not wear it. I want to be able to wear this all seasons. It's incredible. It is so smooth, and you get a smooth creaminess from the vanilla, but I also think the tuberose and the gardenia gives it a nice creaminess as well. So it's floral, it's a little bit fruity. There is a hint of spice in there, but I really don't pick up a lot of cinnamon and patchouli. Everything about it, it is very well balanced. And I showed this to my husband, and he thought it was amazing as well. And I also showed one of my best friends, and she was amazed. So I know it's not just me. I can't wait to hear more opinions on this perfume, because in my mind, this is one of the best of the best. I wore this just yesterday. It's going to be very difficult for me to not wear this perfume. And it's so good, I should want to save it, but it smells so incredible. I don't think I'll have a problem wearing it. And it does have a bit of warmth to it, but it just transports my mind to an evening watching the sunset on the beach somewhere. Really glamorous. This is a honeymoon perfume. Might not be perfect for the wedding day, but the honeymoon. And then I have one more perfume here to talk about. I tried to give this list some organization, which is why I started with all seasons, spring, summer, and then this would be the one fragrance that is fall winter. I have other fall winter fragrances that I love that I would consider standouts, but right now mentally I'm in summer mode, so I'm just not really grabbing them. I'm not really wearing them, so this is where my head is at the moment, but it's still a standout enough that I had to include it on today's list. And it also happens to be the only designer perfume. All of the rest are niche fragrances, but this is Christian Louboutin Louis Rouge. I picked this up as soon as it launched last year. I think it was around the holidays. And it is just an incredible standout. To me, it is so unique. It is unlike anything else on the list. Not fruity, not floral at all. It's a very sexy evening, very moody, kind of spicy perfume. The keynotes are cardamom, iris, and vanilla. It was inspired by a Parisian cabaret, and that is truly what I think of whenever I smell this perfume. So spicy. Almost smells like it could be unisex. I think there's a hint of tobacco in there. It's a little bit smoky. And yet when it dries down, you get a ton of the vanilla and it becomes very smooth. A little sweetness creeps in there and just smells so nice. I love this. Cannot get enough of this fragrance. And it is so different from a lot of the fragrances in my collection, but even between the fragrances that I would put in the same category, this is my favorite. I picture getting dressed up for a night out on the town, doing my hair, smoky eye, I think of a bold red lip, high heels. You can just picture the whole ensemble. And that completes my top 10 list of my favorite show-stopping fragrances. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was kind of tricky putting this list together. I could have included a bunch of honorable mentions, but I feel very confident with my top 10. And I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know your favorite showstopper perfumes. What are the top perfumes in your entire collection? Drop me a comment. We will keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.